attorney, I can confidently say that if you are with a man who hits you, degrades you, is rude to you, abuses you in any small or big way, not only does he hate you, he's gay. You need to leave!
Hit me with the harshest reality truth. Most men are gay. They're literally gay because they don't really like us women. Our natural bodies, they think it's gross. Our interests, they think it's cringe. Spending time with us, they think it's like a responsibility. And if a guy has a girlfriend and instead of date night with her, he genuinely wants to be with the boys and he feels it's a punishment that he can't spend time with his boys, he doesn't really like her. So I genuinely think most men are gay, but they haven't figured it out because being gay is also like too feminine for them and they don't like feminine things.
What an odd thing to say.
Normally when I go on social media and I see a post that kind of grinds my gears, I ask 3 questions. 1, is this botted? 2, is this just obvious rage bait to make people angry and drive engagement? And 3, is this post specifically made to make a demographic look bad? Now of course the video and the tweet that I included in this intro could probably fall under the last 2, and I could easily make a video just pandering to dudes on the internet going,
"Wow, aren't these women so stupid? They think you're gay. This is why we hate them. This is why we hate modern women."
Which would probably make me a lot of money, but this has been a subject that I've heard in real life and also online that I've had thoughts about. So in this video, let's dive into masculinity, misogyny, and homophobia.
He's Squidward, you're Squidward!
Anybody watching this vid is probably aware of the connotations that gay has in our mainstream vocabulary. This can vary from its actual definition of being a sexual orientation to stuff like, "You're not getting on the game today? That's gay," or "He trims his eyebrows? Maybe he's gay." Gay has evolved into more flowery language such as zesty, fruity, sus, and so on, but most times they're still used as digs against masculinity or to rage bait men into desired gender roles.
Women are being socially engineered to hate men, and men are being socially engineered to be gay. Don't at me. It's just what I see. I've picked up on it. They're just making men more and more effeminate, encouraging effeminate behavior. Because men are supposed to go out and defend. Okay? They're not supposed to be sitting in a classroom learning about their feelings and 76 genders that they can choose from.
If you're looking for someone who's going to provide the exact same thing you provide, you're not looking for a woman, you're looking for a man, which is totally fine, but let's be honest about it.
It's this manipulative tactic where they'll try to shame straight men by suggesting any deviation from a rigid masculine ideal is inherently gay, effectively using queerness as the ultimate insult to enforce conformity. At the very same time, on the other end of the spectrum, that same language becomes a tool for fear-mongering. Gay men, both those who are open and those still closeted, are meant to be a fundamental threat to the social fabric of our society. It paints them as a danger to women, evil closeted gay men who will date or marry you only to cheat on you with another man or worse, bring back AIDS to the household. However, all this is not to say that we as men, straight or gay, don't have shit that doesn't stink. There are absolutely cases where closeted men and straight men themselves actively perpetuate misogyny as a form of overcompensation. You'll see this especially in hyper-masculine spaces where the pressure to perform straightness is overwhelming. These men will sometimes be the loudest voices putting women down, the most aggressive in asserting male dominance, and this is precisely because they're terrified of anyone questioning their sexuality or masculinity. And this pattern isn't new or unique to sexuality or masculinity either. History shows us that violence and desire often coexist in twisted ways. Colonialists who brutalized indigenous populations, slave owners who raped enslaved people while preaching white supremacy, and even among us men, there are men that weaponize SA in places like prison or wartime in order to intimidate and break other men. It's like society struggles so hard to grasp that patriarchy and misogyny can be a straight man's preference, that some men genuinely benefit from and enjoy the power dynamic of devaluing women.
Would you support banning women from higher education and repealing the 19th Amendment?
Repealing the 19th Amendment, for sure. I don't think women should vote.
So just like Hitler imprisoned gypsies, Jews, communists, all of his political rivals, we have to do the same thing with women. And we'll sort it out. We'll find the good ones. They can prove themselves, and we'll let them go. So they go to the gulag first. They go to the breeding gulags. The good ones will be liberated, the bad ones will toil in the mines forever.
It's kind of like when people speculate that certain transphobes or homophobes secretly like trans people or secretly LGBT. Some people are just bigoted and they don't have like some tragic backstory where this is how they express themselves. Some people just are genuinely bigoted and hate others for characteristics they can't change. Although I have some very valid criticisms of the show Euphoria, including the sexualization of minors within the plot and the very cringe scenes that didn't age well at all.
There's nothing more powerful than a fat girl who doesn't give a fuck. You should see me in the corner.
Dude, I'm watching the stream while you try not to laugh, but that's disrespectful as shit.
I think with the weaponization of homophobia, the terror of being perceived as gay, the violent overcompensation, and the entanglement of misogyny with repressed sexuality, you really can't do better than Nate Jacobs from Euphoria. Nate is practically a walking embodiment of everything that we've been talking about here. He grows up in a household where his father Cal lives this double life where he has a wife and kids, but then on the side he's making sex tapes with men and trans youths in motels, and Nate internalizes that contradiction in the most destructive way possible. His entire personality becomes this hyper-masculine fortress built to keep anyone from ever suspecting that he might share his father's desires. He's violently homophobic, rampantly misogynistic, he chokes his girlfriend, and he blackmails and threatens Jules. He even tries to give himself a concussion in one scene. He's trying to prove to himself that he's different, that he's straight, and that he's in control. And in doing so, he becomes this textbook example of the closeted man who perpetuates misogyny and violence as compensation, hurting everyone around him, especially women, in a desperate attempt to escape the stigma he sees reflected in his own father. He's the argument made flesh that homophobic rhetoric and patriarchal violence often stem from the same poisoned root, the terror of being caught on the wrong side of the social line. And although there's a new season coming out, me personally, I think it's purposefully ambiguous, his sexuality. It doesn't excuse any of the horrible shit he's done in the show, but there's definitely deeper conversations to have that I think as a straight man am not really equipped to go that deep into the storyline. So there's probably video essays out there, or if you're watching this, make a video essay, put it out there. In conclusion though, the casual use of homophobic language isn't just harmless slang, it's a tool for controlling how men are supposed to act while also diminishing the actual reach and damages of misogyny and patriarchy. As we've seen, this gets used by everyone from conservative commentators enforcing traditional values to everyday people explaining away misogyny with just, haha, he's gay. However, I do think in the cases of people like Myron Gaines and Nick Fuentes that their hatred of women is so powerful that even though they can be sexually attracted to women, their need for validation from other men just overpowers that completely. The sad irony is that the same system that shames men for being soft pushes them to act extra tough, often turning them into the very type of aggressive, woman-hating guys we're all terrified of being mistaken for. A lot of men also just hate women without having an incentive to. We should all focus on the causes and the system instead of demonizing and stereotyping each other. If you've gotten this far, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in next week's video, which is about women fighters in history. So we're gonna shed the chuds that may have subscribed and followed me because of this video. See ya.